Live from NBC 25 in Flint, this is Mid-Michigan Now.
We begin tonight with Michigan standing to lose more than $30 million in Victims of Crime Act funding. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Woolfolk.
And I'm Stella Daskalakis. State Attorney General Dana Nessel says the Trump administration has threatened to freeze the funding unless state authorities agree to comply with federal civil immigration enforcement.
The money helps crime victims and the organizations that do the work. Mid-Michigan Now's Courtney Bennett has our top story tonight. And Courtney, we understand that Attorney General Nessel is trying to stop this, right?
Yes, Nessel and 21 other Democratic state attorneys general are suing the Department of Justice. They say the funds should go to states without this attached caveat regarding immigration policy.
This is an act of Congress created this fund, and it gets dispersed to the states through a very specific formula. That's been happening for over 40 years.
The money is allocated through the Crime Victims Fund, which was established by the Victims of Crime Act during the Reagan administration in 1984.
This is funding that comes from, fees and penalties that are paid from criminal defendants that are convicted at the federal level.
According to the Office for Victims of Crime, as of May, the fund balance was more than $5 billion.
It is owed to our very most vulnerable, which is, crime victims.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel says with this lawsuit filed in Rhode Island, she hopes it can move quickly through the legal system.
And can you imagine all of those people potentially losing their job all at once? Would be devastating. We just wouldn't be able to operate, and I think it'd be impossible to prosecute these cases effectively.
The money goes to prosecutor offices across the state for victim advocates. It also funds child advocacy centers like Voices for Children.
It is over 52% of the funds that we get for the services. It's the critical services that are needed to provide life-saving services as well as justice for children.
Voices for Children helps support kids who were abused and neglected. Nisi Holloman is the president and CEO. She says she can't imagine what children would do without these supports.
It's kind of devastating to think about because while we're talking about funding that could be taken away and frozen, like the numbers to continue to increase.
Holloman tells me last year they saw a 15% increase of children needing these services.
Before you had child advocacy centers, there were over 16 different adults that were talking to kids, from law enforcement to CPS to different therapists, different doctors. Now this is one coordinated approach, and it is built with the intentionality of children.
The proposed funding freeze would be for the next fiscal year and also impacts domestic violence and trauma recovery centers. Right now, it's unclear if it'll happen, especially now with that lawsuit that's been filed. I did reach out to the Department of Justice for comment and have not heard back. Reporting live in the studio, Courtney Bennett, Mid-Michigan Now.
Rain will not stop a special event at Bridgeport Historical Village from happening tonight. The Wrong Season concert is still on inside the old 1896 Town Hall. The show begins at 7. Refreshments, including popcorn, water, and pop, will be available for purchase.
New tonight and caught on camera, a Fenton man's arrest after a brief chase. Police say 37-year-old Cory Herrick thought he could outrun officers after he was clocked speeding on a motorcycle. He thought wrong. During that chase, police say Herrick tossed a gun and amphetamine away. They did catch him, and Herrick now faces 11 felony counts.
We have new details about a story we first reported yesterday. A man accused of shooting a woman several times in 2020 is found guilty. We have a warning. The details could be disturbing to you. Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton says the jury convicted 36-year-old Kevin Spence of 15 felonies, including torture, assault, and unlawful imprisonment. At trial, prosecutors say Spence forced a woman into a vehicle, drove around for several hours, then shot her at least 8 times, including twice in the chest, and shattered her wrist. Spence left the woman in the vehicle, but she managed to get out and find help. After the assault, he took off to Georgia. Sentencing has not yet been scheduled.
New tonight, we are learning about a just unveiled multi-million-dollar plan for more attainable housing here in Michigan. The plan would modernize local zoning rules, boost housing construction, and help accelerate housing development all across the state. The proposal asks lawmakers to set aside $800 million over the next 5 years to help spur affordable housing projects. Supporters, including State Representative Amos O'Neill of Saginaw, say the cash infusion could result in 10,000 new or rehabilitated homes.
Why am I saying that? Because we're talking about making sure that the playing field is fair, but it has to be equitable as well. So when you think about generational wealth, you have to make sure we create opportunities for all families, all races to have access to those opportunities because it's so important.
Now, the proposal comes from the Michigan Municipal League. It would provide funding to developers for projects in communities that relax certain zoning regulations, such as allowing duplexes in residential areas.
Also in Lansing, a change to Michigan's Amber Alert system is recommended and passes in a House committee. The Rowan Act would give Michigan State Police more power in activating the Amber Alert system when they believe a child is in danger. That control is limited, though. Current policy limits the Amber Alert to runaway children, parental abduction, and children with severe disabilities. If the Rowan Act were to become law, it would allow and require MSP to issue an Amber Alert for a report of a missing child with special needs or a missing child who the department believes is in danger after a preliminary investigation is conducted. The Rowan Act is named after Brandy Maury Pohl's son. The 6-year-old was shot and killed a year ago today by his own father. She says if an Amber Alert had been issued, he would still be here.
I don't know what the holdback is. Like, why are we making it difficult to save our kids? That's why Rowan's Act needs to happen.
2 bills were unanimously referred for a second reading. That means they will be put on the docket to be heard by the entire House.
Well, it is Big Tuesday at Catholic Charities Center for Hope. Despite the rain today, people showed up to take advantage of resources for those in need, including a free food giveaway, lunch, and an expungement clinic. Now, if you missed today's event, there are 2 more on the schedule, so mark your calendar. The next Big Tuesday giveaway is September 9th, and the final one for this year is set for October 14th.
We have an update to a story we brought you last month. Hand of Hope, a nonprofit thrift boutique, is stepping in to support nonprofit organizations in Flint because of federal cuts. The boutique is offering $10,000 in grants, including a $5,000 award and 5 $1,000 awards. Now, the group is asking members of the community to vote on the organizations they believe should receive the funds. If you would like to vote, we have a link at Mid-MichiganNow.com. Just look for this story.
Also making headlines tonight, the 9-banded armadillo may soon make its way here to Michigan. Armadillos were first recorded in the U.S. back in 1849. Since then, they have expanded their range northward and eastward. A recent Michigan Department of Natural Resources study shows there were 97 armadillo occurrences in Indiana that date back to 2013. The northernmost point was in Porter County. That's about 5 miles from the Michigan state line. The famously harsh winters in this state might be an obstacle to the critters. They have a hard time surviving prolonged periods in sub-freezing temperatures, and that's due to their minimal fur and body fat.